Good evening. Oh, let's see. Should I unmute?
You're unmuted.
No, the other two.
Oh, they might be waiting for their computers to.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
Hey, is that Lori?
it's me.
Hi, Lori. Welcome.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Good. Whew.
David, hello.
Yeah. Hello, Joanne.
How are you doing tonight?
Very good.
I'm glad to hear that. How about your families? Everyone in good health
Everybody's
with
safe.
your families?
No, we're all fine.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Just waiting for a haircut.
Me too.
Exactly.
Yeah, for about a couple weeks ago, I was starting to look like Justin Bieber. I'm like, no, this cannot be. No.
I actually got one a couple weeks ago. My friend's sister is was at a work barber, so I went out and we did it on the back deck.
Awesome.
Wonderful, wonderful.
It was like 2 pounds off my shoulders.
I know, right?
No pun intended.
I can't wait. I feel like I'm going to be so much cooler without all this hair. So just so you guys know, I only got a response, a positive response from Lori. I got regrets from Brendan Brown from Middlebury and from regrets from Robert Clark from Woodbury. And I only had heard from you three, from those three people. I'm glad, David, you were able to join us. So we're going to give people maybe a little extra time, a little past 6:30, see if anyone else joins.
That's
But until
fine.
then, it looks like it's going to be a small group chat.
Good by me.
And today, as of today, we've got a quorum is needed for 7. 7 is needed for a quorum.
And just to let everybody know, this meeting is being recorded because we have to.
Yeah, and what's going to happen is,
Good by me.
and then by tomorrow, it should be posted on YouTube with a link on our website. So that's how we're going to do our meeting record. Obviously, I'll have minutes, meeting minutes within a week.
You started the recording already?
Yeah,
Yes.
I started
Are you okay?
recording when you haven't sworn, so you're good.
Yeah, I usually start ours right when the meeting starts. up to a closet there. Just pulled up to the front. Have you been in the office at all, Joanna?
Maybe 3 times. We keep it, we have kept it to no more than 5 people at the office. So we do have one person, she's our office manager. She comes in every day and she answers the phones, and she helps make sure packages are delivered and such. But we make it a rule not to have more than 5 people in the office at a time. And, you know, we're kind of opening our office the same way that the state is opening their offices. So we're not going to have a full staff at the office anytime soon.
Very good.
How about, well, no, we'll wait until
Okay.
that discussion goes. Okay, if you guys are in agreement, should we begin the meeting?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the time right now is 6:33. Oh, Keith is on. Hold on a second. Keith is asking me where we are. Yes. Hold on a second. Let me just send him the information to get on.
Is he in Teams?
Yeah, he thinks it's on Teams.
Oh.
Hold on a second. Zoom. If you guys bear with me for a moment, I'm just going to give him the information. Okay, Rich, he should be coming on soon.
Okay.
Oh, and for those of you who don't know, this is Richard Crowther. He's usually a GIS, well, he is a GIS person, not usually, he is a GIS person. But he also is kind of our liaison for the Zoom meetings to help us hand over hosting duties and helping arrange that. So it's part of our own process.
Thanks, Rich.
You're welcome. I get to kick out anybody who shouldn't be here, so it's fun.
Yeah, he's the gatekeeper. Right, come on, Keith. Come on, Keith.
Hopefully his internet's working today.
Yeah, that's one of the hazards of us having working from home is sometimes my internet is pretty unstable. So if I do lose connection, I'll try my best to reconnect. Hang for 5 minutes. If you don't see me within those 5 minutes, just end the meeting.
Talk amongst ourselves. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. I'll give you a topic. Holy Roman Empire.
Well, if I hand over hosting duties to you when I have to leave, and you
Oh, that's right.
do service,
The meeting will end anyway.
Yeah.
So, but you know, if I lose internet connection, which is a very slim chance, I've had pretty good connection today. I'll just email you guys the next day, and we'll reset the meeting.
Good.
Okay. Well, I do not see
No, Keith.
Keith, where are you?
do you need
I'm
me
going to
to
give
invite
him 1 more minute.
Well, if he has his Zoom open, I sent him an invite through Zoom. So
Okay. Okay, let's start the meeting. So I corrected, the meeting is now starting at 6:39 p.m. And shall we stand, do the Pledge of Allegiance, or, you know, wherever you have your flag, please pledge allegiance to that flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
United States of America. And to the republic
to the
which
republic,
it stands,
under one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. And may I ask who's on the meeting today?
Dave White,
Lori Rotella, Borough of Naugatuck.
Richard Crowther, NVCOG.
Joanna Rogalski from Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. Okay. And we had sent out with our meeting notice, if the public wanted to address the RPC, we were asking them to send notice to a particular email address. And as of yesterday at 4:30, we did not receive any public comments or any requests to address the RPC. So there is no public comment today. Moving on to administrative items. We don't have a quorum today. We only have 2. A quorum for today is needed is 7. However, if you want to look over the meeting minutes that were included with your agenda, do you have any suggested edits or corrections that need to be for the draft meeting minutes from February? It should be February 25th, not February 4th.
I don't have any.
I do not either.
Okay. Thank you. And we're moving on to agenda item 2B, referrals. I didn't send out a referral summary sheet. However, we did have since February 26th until today, we've had 15 referrals. None of them have been regionally significant. 2 of them were about subdivisions and the rest were zoning. And have you been receiving, I should ask David and Lori, have you been receiving those referrals?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great.
How
Do
many
you have
was
any
the total?
questions? Sorry?
What was the total of referrals?
17. And they've actually fallen off because of the COVID-19 public health emergency. As you all know, we've been having to rethink our processes and adapt. So I think that's a lot of people are doing that right now. Now, moving on to agenda item 2C, correspondence. I haven't gotten any correspondence regarding the Regional Planning Commission over the last few months. Do you have any questions regarding agenda item 2A, B, and C?
None.
No.
Okay, great. Then we're going to move on to agenda item number 3. I put the roundtable first because I really want to hear what's going on with Bristol and Naugatuck. You know, how has your town been adapting with, and how has your towns and cities been coping with the COVID-19? So, ladies first, Lori, do you want to give us a little snapshot of what's been happening in Naugatuck?
So most of the offices are closed. People are working from home, but it's been open the whole time though with appointments. So we've been doing
town hall's
town
been
hall,
open with appointments.
business, right? Appointment only, so business as usual. We've been doing an extraordinary number of permits, especially pool permits. We issued, let me see, how many restaurants did I go to? 6 or 7, working with them on getting their outdoor dining up and running. So we have a couple of them out on the sidewalk. Some of them had their own patios already. And then we're going to start our Eat Local, Win Local campaign. So what I'm going to is all the restaurants asking if they want to participate. They donate a gift card. And then we're going to put it out to the public that every time they go to a restaurant, West Hartford did this, but they did a minimum of $15 with 2 receipts. We're just doing whatever you spend, email it into us, and we will do a drawing every Monday.
Wow. Okay.
So far, I think I have 14 gift cards from the various restaurants. We're just trying to let the citizens know that the restaurants are up and running, whether it be takeout or on the patios, and we want them to go and visit them.
Okay.
I live in Naugatuck, so I'm actually interested in this.
Oh, you did?
So if you could be takeout receipt also?
You need, yeah, takeout receipt, anything, but we haven't started that part of it. I'm still collecting the gift cards from people. It's supposed to be under the mayor's Facebook page. We're
Okay.
trying to get it out, and plus the restaurants that are using it, we're going to post something in their windows to say, hey, save your receipt, email it into this address, this email address, or you could drop it off, whatever.
Okay.
And every Monday we'll do drawings. So far
Thank you.
we've gotten the between, I didn't put any limit on the amount because I didn't want to burden any restaurant if they couldn't afford it. So we got from $20 from Mike's Pizza Palace up to $100 from the station. And
Wow.
everywhere in between.
Cool.
So I'm waiting on quite a few more, and I still have quite a few to go visit. I don't want to leave anybody out, but it's hard. There's quite a few restaurants once you start going visiting them all.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay. And how are you guys preparing? I know for phase 2 of opening.
We haven't done anything yet with that. That's the one where the restaurants, or do you mean the town hall itself?
Well, no, just in general, Connecticut opening for business, phase 2. Have you
Oh, the
prepared?
gyms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The larger numbers of people for private gatherings, larger number of people for outdoor.
I have not done anything in my office yet. I'm not sure if the mayor's doing anything with his unified command team.
Okay.
So,
All right. All right. And David, how about Bristol?
Well, first I'd like to comment that I think what Naugatuck and Lori are doing is absolutely fantastic. What a great idea.
wasn't mine. It was West Hartford's. I go
Oh.
on all of the CCM and everything. So
Take credit for it, please.
Well, talk about you know a good idea when you see one and you
I
act
do.
on it. That's good.
My first phone call tomorrow. In Bristol, we have, I'm going to say unofficially, cooperated with restaurants to try to provide them with any outside space that doesn't go too much against the grain. A number of restaurants, including a number of bars, have done tables outside. They're not letting anybody inside, but they've set up tents. Kind of interesting, one of the most popular restaurant tours in Bristol is he has 3 restaurants, Parkside, which is a breakfast lunch, and Pint and Plate, which does primarily dinner meals, but I believe it also provides lunch. And then there's a newer place that has opened up by the same couple on North Main Street that is kind of an unusual, I won't say it's vegetarian or vegan, but its emphasis is on healthy food. Now, the interesting thing is that JR, who is owner, has declared that he's not going to open up his Parkside restaurant on top of Federal Hill or his downtown restaurant, Pint Plate, until at least September. And what I thought was interesting was that his post said that if his business was set up to run at 100%, it didn't make any sense to him to open up with less than 100%. So people set up and took notice because these are very popular places. He has a very strong, loyal following. And I'm very interested to see what reaction his position is going to have on other restaurants.
So did he mention? Okay, he's not going to open until September. Is his? It seems like summertime would have more customers. Did he mention why September?
Again, if he's not going to be able to open at 100% of his capacity.
Oh, 100% capacity. Got it. Okay.
He's saying I would rather stay closed.
Okay, got it. And I understand now with the 50% capacity, the social distancing and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are, frankly, a number of restaurants who are looking to open at the middle of this month. And I really question whether they're going to be able to easily accommodate themselves with the state requirements. It's going to be very difficult. As far as any other businesses in town with the phase 2 opening, I know our barbershops and hairdressers are open, and the word has gotten to me that I would say almost 100%, if not 100%, are in compliance with what the state wants them to do, taking every precaution available, which is really good. takeout in places that are offering it are still continuing to do good. I'm not sure what else I can add to that.
Okay. How about have you seen an increase in the number of permits that people are applying for?
No, we have a zoning meeting tomorrow. I have not seen the reports on permits, but it will be available tomorrow. The last month we had a meeting, it was down, not considerably, but it was down from previous months, and it was slower than, let's say, a year ago this date.
Okay. All right. All right. Anything else that you'd like to add? You know, one of the things I'm kind of interested in, both of you, Lori and David, as far as your festivals and such, I imagine a lot of them have been postponed or.
I believe in Bristol we have our Mum Festival, and I believe it is going to be postponed, but I couldn't honestly say that I've seen an official announcement of it.
No official
And
announcement?
that could be just me, that I missed it, but I would be very surprised since it runs in end of September. I can't imagine that it would take place.
Okay.
I
don't know about Lori.
I haven't heard anything yet about ours. I am trying to work with the mayor. We're talking about closing the street down Church Street, at least to have the restaurants there bring their tables outside and have more outside seating.
Mhm.
So we're working on that. That would be a nice thing to do, you know, even if it's just Saturday nights. So we are pushing for that. And David, let me tell you, I'm working with NEDC and the chamber for this Eat Local, Win Local.
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled them in because they know how to do the marketing.
Yeah, good. Very good. I think Joanna is frozen. Oh, there she is.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to see here. A second. Okay. All right. Let me get back to the agenda. Looking at that. So how do you think, are your towns ready for the reopening? You feel like they're in good shape for reopening?
I feel ours is. We've been
I
working on
would
it.
say Bristol is doing good and is prepared.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. All right, next item on our agenda, the Regional Commission restructuring. Quite honestly, nothing has happened since the last time we spoke in February. I'm still anticipating things will be changing. From what we discussed a few months ago, this would be going to 4 times a year meetings, having it more of an educational component to the meetings, still having 2 representatives from each town, having the referrals become an entirely NVCOG staff function. However, we would still share the referral reports with you. And let me see what was on there. Let me just open that up for a moment. Bear with me. Yeah, a quorum would be 6 representatives or alternates. And let's see here. The main duties would be review regionally significant development proposals as defined by Connecticut General Statutes 4-124U and develop recommendations concerning regional plan of conservation development. So that's still our intention. However, we've at the COG, we've been so focused on responding to COVID-19 inquiries from the state and from municipalities that we just haven't addressed the Regional Planning Commission. I'm just wondering, do you guys have any, have your thoughts or your opinions changed about the Regional Planning Commission since last we spoke in February?
No, not me.
Not me.
Okay,
Joanna, I do have a question.
sure, yeah.
In regards to an alternate, I don't know that Bristol has appointed or assigned an alternate. Does an alternate have to be actually appointed by the mayor, or are we allowed to just
So
put
the
in an
process,
alternate?
yeah, currently the process is as long as the chief elected official and the planning and zoning commission or the planning commission are in agreement on the candidate, you know, that the mayor or the chief elected official will write a letter saying this person is appointed to the RPC. However you guys do it in Bristol or Naugatuck, whatever town, do you need to have a specific, you know, Board of Selectmen vote on it or Planning Commission vote on it? That's up to you guys.
So just like ourselves, any alternate would have to go through the same process.
Correct, right. You don't have to appoint an alternate if you don't want to. I think it's a good idea in case, so you're not burdened with the meeting all the time.
Okay. Thank you.
Lori, did you have something?
No.
Do I see your hand up? No, okay.
We don't have an alternate either.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You know, again, it's up to however the town wants to participate, but we hope that there would be two. Let me see. So just, I thought we could move on to the next agenda item. Get my agenda back up. Number 5, other. So as far as, I had a couple announcements that I'd like to make under other. First of all, Sustainable CT, that's the municipal certification program. They do certifications every year, and it's a voluntary program for municipalities. We do have this summer 2 fellows from the Sustainable CT program, and they can assist any town in the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. Their priority is with those who are registered with the Sustainable CT program. Right now, they're doing specific help with Bristol and Waterbury. But Lori, did you receive my email from last week? Yeah, okay, so I just want you to know, I reached out to all the people, all the towns that are registered and the contact people. So if you want to engage them, or you just want to have a meeting and say, hey, this is where we're at, is there anything you can do to help us? We've got 2 fellows to help you, Lori.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Someday I'll get it going.
Yeah, yeah. And as far as Bristol, I think they're going for silver this year, David.
I believe so.
And it's David Oakes who's running, in charge of that application and that certification application. So have you heard anything about it, or?
I have not, no.
Okay. Are you familiar with the program?
Not entirely, no.
Okay. Well, I can send you an email with information later.
Thank you.
And what else did I want to say? Oh, so part of the COVID-19 response, the state is now moving from just response to focusing on recovery. And part of that is the state has asked that each of the municipalities appoint a local long-term recovery committee / coordinator. Have you guys at all know anything about it, or know anybody who's been appointed?
No,
No.
I've not heard about that at all. So it's called,
Okay.
the state's asking for a local long-term.
Right.
it?
Local long-term recovery coordinator. I think Naugatuck might have already done it. I haven't looked at the spreadsheet, but I just wanted to gauge if you guys knew about that program, or you know. So I just want to give you a little bit of information about it. And I think, did Keith join us?
Yeah,
He
she's
did,
in
and I want to know where Keith is.
Oh,
I went to Mexico.
Oh,
usually am.
Prove it. Where's your margarita?
Hey, I'm there with you.
Now there it is.
Finally. They don't have very good connection down here in Mexico.
uh,
All right.
what can you do?
Good to see you, Keith.
Finally.
So Keith, we're just talking.
Yes.
We're on agenda item number 5, other.
Yes.
So I was just talking about sustainable CT, but I'm also talking about the local long-term recovery committees that the state is helping to arrange, or hoping
Mhm.
that the municipalities arrange. One of the main idea behind these, and also there's a regional steering committee that kind of goes alongside these. The idea of these is to help meet as many unmet needs that have resulted from COVID-19 in your communities as possible.
Yes.
So if the idea is that there would be a local coordinator that's appointed who has good connections among the community, and they can tap into more of the local networks of people and say, hey, you know, this group of seniors is not getting enough assistance with rental, or they're having problems getting food because of COVID-19. So the idea is that that person would connect with a regional resources, and
Yes.
those regional resources would help connect, address the needs of those people that have a particular need in the community. If
Right.
those needs are not met, the idea is that those needs would be brought up to a regional steering committee, and that regional steering committee would bring it to the attention of the state, and hopefully the state would figure out some kind of resources to help those people out. So the topics
Yes.
that we're trying to address with these recovery committees are like social services, health, economy.
Yep.
It's pretty broad. It's usually, when these recovery committees are put in place, it's usually for a disaster that is like a tornado or a flood, where you've got some kind of big infrastructure that has been compromised or that needs to be fixed. And usually that disaster recovery is just fixing the house or fixing the road.
Oh yeah. Right. I experienced that at the end of the crisis of Sandy, as it related to raise ups on the coast in Old Lyme.
Right.
But those seemed to be very particular cases where it was just money, insurance, persons, getting it all together, and finally making the decision to actually do the work, because it took a lot of the homeowner. There was a lot of it was either raise the house, put the house back, raise it, clean everything up, and make the decision to go on for the next 20 years for like a family that had a house on the beach, or just level it and keep it as an open lot. But most of the people took advantage of it because the state gave them money and loans and such to do the work. So it was really specific to specific properties and such. I think at the end of the day, we still have to go back to those people who were the elected, who were made the coordinator, the local coordinator, and find out, what are they doing? What are you actually doing as the coordinator?
Mhm.
Because it seems to me that people were there. Some of them were more business oriented. Some are more with the economic development agencies, and some of them were not necessarily looking at what the elderly need, or what the homeless need, or what the the marginally people are marginally affected. So the marginal folks of Connecticut, they're not necessarily looking that. They're looking in to see whether businesses can be helped and things like that. So I think we have to go back and still see how these committees were formed, and at least in our COG, with our COG communities, and figure out how they're actually functioning. What
Right.
are they doing? How are they meeting? How are they proceeding? You know?
Yeah, so in the
Uh.
beginning of May, there was this big rush to appoint people to be on this regional subcommittee, and these are people who are recognized experts in their field, like workforce development and
Yep.
such. So right now, we're still, we being the COGS and the emergency management community, are waiting to hear from the state, you know, what exactly, how are we going to be addressing these unmet needs? You know,
Exactly.
what exactly are these local coordinators? What is their task exactly? I mean, the state has tried to make it as fluid as possible. So like one community, let's say Bristol, needs more help with restaurants, whereas
We're gonna have to win
Naugatuck
them.
might need more help with
Their beaches.
of course, yes. The extensive waterfront at Naugatuck, exactly.
I think we're like right near each other. I'm gonna have a drink with Lori today.
So, you know, we, the COGS, are still trying to figure out, you
Yeah.
know, we're waiting to hear from the state. But also there is a kind of a push to kind of make it more of an economic recovery focus. So,
Mhm.
so this is just all FYI for you guys. And as soon
Yeah.
as the COG has been reaching out, trying to figure out who has been appointed as a local coordinator or not. And, you know, the COG is going to offer their help if, you know, the local coordinators need some help reaching out to people or meeting or having a place to meet, or they'll, with social distancing, I think that'll be, you know, minimized as much as possible. So, you know, we're still trying to figure it out.
Oh yeah.
So, but I just wanted you guys to know about it.
I listened to the whole the webinar with CCM today concerning the parks and the use
Yes.
of public spaces and all the things now involved in with the park with the pools and everything like that. It's going to be a different kind of year, different kind of summer as things go on. How
So
people meet, how people get together.
So David and Lori, did you, there was a webinar today that was, it involved CCM, CIRMA, CIRMA, and Connecticut Parks and Rec Association. And it was talking about, you know, as, you know, June 17th, there's going to be these, you know, there's going to be more larger group gatherings allowed. What is this going to mean for sports, municipal parks, and all that kind of thing? Is that's what they were talking about, Keith?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Were
Now-
you guys aware of it at all?
No, I wasn't. I would be interested in knowing what things were talked about and resolved.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
that's one of the things we should do. That's our next. Joanna and I have thought about just sending out email blasts about all these different kinds of all the different executive orders and how they relate to the various municipalities and giving people kind of a cookie cutter or recipe way of getting through all that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've been
Yes.
sending these notices as we get them, you know, to the CEOs and the EMDs, but we haven't been sending them to planners or, you know, people from our RPC. But it sounds like at least the two of you would be interested in getting more of those types of information.
Absolutely.
I've
Okay.
been doing the CCM classes, the other ones that you could find online. You know, they did the LID one the other day, and also Casio, I've been doing they had one regarding all of the executive orders, and then Sarah Bronin does quite a few. I was on one with her today regarding the protests. And
Yeah,
I was
zoning
on
is
that
gonna
one
be
as well.
different. You
Right
were?
on. Lori, you're going to be a progressive planner.
Oh, boy.
Revolutionary.
Exactly. Things have to change in the borough.
Uh-huh, exactly. Especially in Naugatuck.
So
Okay. All right,
there's
so
quite a
I
few
think
classes.
that, yeah, it's, you know, something on the NVCOG website, we do have a COVID-19 related page, you know, that there's a lot there. I know that there's a lot of different resources, but if you want something, we actually did a pretty good job of, and thank you to Richard. He did a lot of that, putting that together. So
Welcome.
visit our website if you can, if you want. And oh, the last thing that I wanted to mention is that there was announced last week that municipalities will be given a chance to get reimbursed for a lot of their COVID-19 expenses. That whole process is being developed right now and it's going to be through OPM, and it's federal funding from the CARES Act that's going to be used. And I know that the economic development directors were given information about this. I'm trying to put together a little flow sheet for municipalities to, and quite honestly, it's a question I've gotten from a few, like CEO, administrative assistants. You know, how do we apply for the FEMA money? How do we apply for the OPM money? So that's something we're working on, and hopefully we'll put that on the website this week. So that's all I had for other. Keith, did you want to mention anything else that related to the towns?
No, not at this point. No, I'm good.
Okay. How about Lori and David? Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about this evening?
I wish I did, but I don't.
I'm good.
Okay.
Are you
well,
going to continue with Sarah's meetings every Tuesday at noon?
I'm going to try. Yes, because it's, I was really, there was about 220 people on the call today. It was quite a bit. It felt a little bit more like a class than a discussion. And I think with 220 people, it's tough to have a discussion, but I thought some really great points were made.
Mhm.
So,
Right. So we have a lot
Keith, were
going
you
on
that-
this year.
Keith, were you on that call today?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Oh, you were. Good.
Sure.
Okay. And hearing no other other categories, shall we adjourn?
Mhm.
One question.
Yes, please.
Are we going to do an August meeting?
If it's planned, then yes.
I'm not looking at my calendar, so I don't know whether we have one.
Yeah, let
planned.
me just, I usually have them in August. Let me just double check on my calendar. Oh, I don't have it open. If it's planned for August, I'd say yes. And it's easier to have, I find it a little bit easier to have smaller meetings through the virtual. People don't, you don't have to drive all the way into Waterbury. And so it's less of a, at least I feel it's less of a amount of time that you have to devote to it. How are you guys feeling about it? Do you think that we should have a August meeting?
I think I'd like to stay in touch with everybody.
Okay.
Because we've had everything disrupted. I'm really getting into the swing of virtual meetings, because we've done here in Bristol all of our zoning meetings. The past 2-3 meetings we've had have been virtual. We have another one tomorrow, and we're planning to continue this through July, maybe even August.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Lori?
We've
The
been-
virtual is,
All of it, and I like it for particularly this meeting. So but yeah, I have in my calendar on the 4th, August 4th.
yeah.
But David, we just passed our regulations for elderly assisted living.
Oh,
Didn't your
nice.
town just do that also?
Again, I guess I'm out of the loop. I'm not sure. I can tell you that we've had one assisted living facility here in town that is reaping all kinds of praise. This is Shady Oaks, and the owner of Shady Oaks has provided housing for their staff and have been living in this portable housing since the pandemic has started. They've had a very low rate of infections. It's just a wonderful, wonderful program that Shady Oaks set up.
And you know something, that might be a great topic of discussion at a RPC meeting, like the best lessons learned from, you know, your community's elderly housing or affordable housing or whatever it is that you felt your community did quite well.
Yep.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right, so the time now is 7:17, and I want to thank you all for taking the time this evening to discuss. And I have to say, I'm so glad to see you guys, and that you seem to be in good health and looking good.
Thank you very much.
See you in a couple months.
Okay, see you in
Hey,
August.
stick around, Joanna.
Okay,
Here, we'll chat.
I tell you what, this is being recorded, so why don't we chat on Teams, if that's okay?
There you go. You
Okay.
call me, or you want me to call you?
Why don't you call me?
Okay.
All right, thank
Thanks.
you all.
Thanks, Richard.
All right, goodbye.
Thanks, Rich, bye-bye.
You're the hero.
Thank you.